Welcome to Joy in Our Town. My name is Pastor Terry Bates. I'm the pastor of Faith Church here in Oklahoma City, and I'm delighted that you've taken the time to join us for today's program. Today we're going to be talking about what the needs are for seniors after retirement. This is a crucial opportunity, as we know that there's over 10,000 people turning 50 every single day in America, which means this is an age wave in the senior population. And as they age to the point of retirement, there's a lot of activity and energy left in them, and we've got to find a way to maximize and capitalize on those opportunities as well. Today we have with me Corky Eshelman, sorry. Right. And he's with Baptist Village Communities here in Oklahoma City and around the state perhaps. Mm-hmm. And they're going to talk to us a little bit about some of these challenges. So Corky, thank you for being with us today.
Glad to be here.
As we know, this age wave, as I call it, this population boom that's going on, people are living longer, they maybe are working longer, but some of them, as they're reaching retirement, are needing to feel that life up to avoid depression, discouragement, boredom, those kinds of things. So talk to us from your perspective, what is the generating factor? What prompted this Baptist Village Communities or resources like this to come into existence, and what role do you hope to play?
Well, I think years ago we started in 1958 and in Hugo, Oklahoma, actually, in a small community, and just the need even then was present for housing and services for senior adults. And it continues to develop and grow, and like you said, one of the main issues is understanding that they may not be in the workforce anymore. A lot of them that live with us still are, but they still have a lot to give, a lot of resources, and they want to serve. So, you know, our theme at Baptist Village Communities is serving God, serving you, serving together. Serving God's obvious. That's what we're all here for. Serving you means a lot of different things. It means serving them from our perspective. It means serving their family, their friends. We want to serve everybody. If somebody's on our campus, we want to serve them. But more importantly, and I think this goes to what you're talking about, is serving together. They still want to serve. So we have all kinds of opportunities for them to come and join us in service. So we want to serve with them, not just serve them individually.
That's great. You know, I've noticed that probably in looking over the years of working as a pastor with people that are in the aging life, one of the biggest concerns, or that maybe even a fear, I don't know if I should say it that way, is their loss of freedom ability, freedom to drive themselves, freedom to live independently. Is this one of the major concerns that you're seeing, and how do you guys try to address something like this?
That's always a challenge, and I think the one thing that we'd really like for people to understand is a lot of times the things they think they're giving up are the things that keep them captive. You know, a lot of people don't want to give up their home. That's a huge issue for people, and you know, that home is a lot of times isolating them and keeping them from the socialization that they really need, that enhances their lives much more than it would be sitting in their house by themselves. So a lot of times, I would tell you that the most frequent comment we have from new residents is about 2 to 3 weeks in, they always tell us we should have done this a long time ago. So it's a major issue for them to understand that they're not necessarily giving up what they think they are. They may be gaining a lot when they make a move to a place that provides the proper level of service for them.
And the goal of not only Baptist Village Communities, but others, it's about, the key word there for me is about creating a community, an environment where they can laugh together, play together, serve together. And so I would imagine that part of your program or part of your service feature is making sure that there's a large menu of options and activities for them to choose from. Has to take a lot of creative personnel to keep them busy. Absolutely.
I always tell people, my mom actually lives at one of our villages, but they would wear us out if we tried to keep up with them. There's stuff going on all the time. They're having different life enrichment events almost every day. They're traveling, they get out and go on trips, and they do lots and lots of different things. So yeah, it's a busy schedule. We try to keep up with what's going on and trends and things they want to do, and find out what they're interested in, and then give them the opportunity to do those things.
Is primarily your focus is independent living or assisted living? Which would better describe what your communities are focused on?
We do everything.
Okay.
We have a lot of residential living, which is independent living for us. We operate 6 assistance and livings. We have 3 24-hour nursing centers, a home health care agency, medical equipment. So we kind of cover the whole range of services for senior adults.
So when a senior's living at home, in their own home, not in a community, there's obviously the lack of socialization, interaction that's very valuable, but you also are able to provide some great curriculum and teaching points about health education, maybe financial management issues. So maybe give us an idea of how these kinds of programs or services can help me if I'm living in one of these communities, maybe get access to things that I wouldn't have if I stayed in my own home.
Well, one of the things that we find is that there's a great need for education about a lot of those things. How do we plan for retirement? You mentioned earlier that people are living a lot longer. A lot of the people that live with us now, when they were planning their retirement, didn't know a lot of people that live past their 70s or early 80s. And they're living into their 90s and 100s. We celebrate 100th birthdays all the time in our villages. So, we try to provide a lot of opportunities for education for them. We have people that we work with, particularly that come in and help with education on their health needs, education on finances for them, different things that we think will help them. And our goal there is always to do things that will enhance their life.
We know that the older we all get, the less physical energy we have, maybe the less abilities, ability to be able to do things. So self-value, self-worth become a very critical piece in this. So to counter that, you have a strong emphasis on the opportunities that you make available to the people in your villages for spiritual enrichment, spiritual engagement, because we know that real value and real self-worth comes from God who created us. Give us an idea, like for the senior that's maybe depressed or bored or they feel like they're losing more than they're gaining at this stage in their life. How can their engagement with spiritual activities, Bible studies, church, how can that help them overcome some of these low points in their life?
I think the critical issue there is understanding that, you'll notice the word retirement's not in our name. We don't retire when we're in God's service.
Right.
It's not part of His vocabulary. So there's always things for Him to do. A great example, I'll tell you, is that we had a lady in her late 90s that was living in a nursing center. And the nurse came in one night and was going to do something that nurses do. And she said, "I just got warm. Can we wait a while?" And the nurse said, "Well, sure, absolutely." And so the resident asked her if she knew about God's grace. This is the resident asking the nurse. To shorten the story, that evening, that lady led that nurse to Jesus. And God called her home that night.
Wow.
So God will use us if our heart's ready to the very end.
Yeah.
We have to be prepared, but she was ready and God used her that night.
Well, I know that there's such incredible wisdom that is stored up in the hearts and minds of our seniors, our aging adults, and to have an outlet for them, not only with each other, and an intake to understand this new dynamic, but also to be able to give out, as you said, not only to this healthcare worker that was providing services to her, but she gave her something even more valuable than the healthcare service. She gave her a gospel message for her. So, holiday seasons, certain points during the year, Memorial weekends, different seasons of the year, they get a little tougher for seniors. Is there some things that a senior might do, a retired person might do to help maybe counterbalance the fact that I know that these are kind of challenge points on my calendar? What are some things I need to be intentional about doing during these seasons?
I think we always focus on how do we keep them engaged during those times. There's a lot of loss. A lot of our residents have lost most of their friends. So yes, those are low points sometimes for them. If we find ways to keep them engaged, so find something to do. Find someone who needs your wisdom. It is there. There's just a wealth of it, and we don't value that enough, I think, as a society. So yeah, we have around holidays, especially, so many things going on and opportunities for them to be active, but maybe more importantly, to serve and be a part of serving with us and others. We do, like at our Oklahoma City campus every year, they do a Christmas party. The residents do a Christmas party for the Friends team, which is what we call our employees, and provide gifts and things for their children and things like that. So there's lots of opportunities, but it's important for us to make sure they're engaged during that time.
Well, I'm not a specialist in literally anything, but I'm told many times that the body produces endorphins, which are very positive energy, rejuvenating energy in our system under certain environments, hugging, embracing, friendship. But they say it kind of goes off the chart when it's engaged in serving somebody and helping them through a crisis point. So I could see why these seniors and people who are in retirement want to be a volunteer. They want to give because there's such a release of that endorphins that just re-energize them for their opportunity to serve. And so you guys are creating those opportunities for them. So we applaud that. The Bible is very respectful of those who are in the aging life. I'm going there like everybody else. They say it's better than the alternative, right? Which is death. So we need to grow old gracefully and appreciate that we have these days on our before us. But the Bible behooves us to treat with great care this generation of people as they're aging for their valuable contribution back to us. And so we thank you that you have had a vision, your team has had a vision to provide these kinds of communities and villages for those seniors and those in retirement in the area. And I just want to encourage those that may be watching today that maybe you're not in a place where you are going to sell your home or relocate or go to a village or a community anywhere in the Oklahoma City area or wherever you may be living. But what you should know is that even in the place where you are, you can find God's grace in that moment. Reading the scriptures, listening to the messages on television, or getting to a local church and being part of that community. All those are very, very valuable to help you overcome those low points throughout the entire year in your life and realize that you still have a lot to give. You have a lot of wisdom, and you have a lot of love. And as you begin to give it away, there's spiritually, not only naturally, but spiritual favor is going to come into your life, and you're going to be energized in a new way to make a difference. So we thank you for those of you who have entered that stage of season in your life for all the valuable contributions you've made through your life and those valuable contributions you're going to be making in the days ahead. So we've been talking with Bob today, Corky today about retirement, and we'll get back to another segment in just a moment with Join Our Town.